All right. So, what's up, guys? All right. Ooh, it's been a few days, or probably weeks, but we're back. We're back with more experience and knowledge, right? To share, convey, right? And it's like always, feedback is always welcome. Here we go. So, there's something that I've been every time is just reinforces the knowledge that women in general, women in general don't know it, but they respond to it. They respond to men who they know he can have sex or conversation with any woman in the room, at the church, at the grocery store, at work, at your neighborhood. And it doesn't mean that it has to be sexual all the time, right? But obviously, a conversation with the opposite sex as a man, it always leads to more, right? Just because of the polarity of it, male and female, right? But I can never get enough of this, confirm it with coworkers, with my own life, with my own, you know, with the closest people that I have, right? And I confirm it, and it's something that it's very simple, right? Actually, is easy, right? But to apply it when you are new to this is kind of like hard, right? I've been listening to another man, a lot of men saying that they're on monk mode, right? They don't want to do nothing with women. They don't want to deal with all this. Like it's just a game, and it's very exhausting. And I just want peace, right? But then it's just like you just rejecting life because we live in this world where it's a contrast, right? It's what makes life, polarity. It's just positive and negative. So when we as men are asking just to have peace, that means like you're rejecting life, right? It's not that we want chaos and we just welcome war left and right, right? It's not like that. But rejecting the nature of things is rejecting life, right? In general. Okay. And I know so that embracing this truth changes people's lives. Once you go through life and you see a lot of people who can witness that they lost a family member, they lost a friend, right, at high school because of depression, right? Because of these people didn't had the right mentor, right? The right people next to them to tell them that it's okay. It's okay to be rejected or to go to failure because nobody's there to tell us that, right? Sometimes we have our parents, our dads, but they're working all the time. I say it all the time. They're working and they don't have time for us, right? And sometimes we think as parents, as men, that the knowledge that we need to know in this world about female nature is just irrelevant, right? We're all focused on making money and other things, exercising and being strong and stable. but we think that ignoring the female nature in woman, ignoring the subject about woman is just kind of like, man, I don't need to know all that. Until then, you get hit right in the face, and then like you can't get up. That's the whole point. You can't get up, and then you say, "What happened here?" Right. So I'm here to tell you, man, share some stories, some knowledge that we as men we have the responsibility to embrace, not only to know but embrace female nature, right? But what is female nature? We all know that we heard it before. What is female nature, right? So female nature, it's woman's nervous system, the psychology of woman on a daily basis. What is it that makes a woman tick? What is it that makes a woman want to talk to you? What is it that a woman makes? What makes a woman want to help you or even respond to you, right? Without an attitude, without a negative attitude. So, what I've learned, young woman, older woman, they all respond to a man who doesn't come as needy, right? And it's crazy because we all been sold the dream that men need to get married and find his wife, and then after that everything's going to be okay, right? There's not going to be no problems, misunderstandings, right? And I think that's not only the wrong approach, but it's just it's a setup for failure. Hmm. And it's no good. It's no good. I can tell you, not only me, other people. I'm not a pickup artist, but I do like to take a look at that knowledge and any knowledge that brings you to another level and understanding not only female nature but life in general, right? And female nature, it's a big chunk, right? I can put a percentage more than 50% of the real knowledge in the world is female nature. Under understanding female nature, not understanding woman. Okay, I think that's very important because a lot of times I dealt with a lot of people who've been married and they say they're going to therapy and they say like, well, you need to understand each other, like blah blah blah, and it's just like no, it's not understanding woman. You're never going to understand woman. Okay, sometimes you don't even understand yourself, right? So we don't have time and we're not built to understand woman. We coexist, right? So along the way, you get to understand why they respond how they respond. That's different. Uh, that's very different. So today is Cinco de Mayo. So somebody's screaming, right? It's a holiday in Mexico. That's good. So going back to the female nature. So now I have a kid, right? I have a grown ass kid and he's dating a girl now. And kind of makes me feel when I was his age, right? But the same thing, people who know this, we as men who know some red pill knowledge, right? And we're eager to share it with people. We're eager to share it with our loved ones. But sometimes it doesn't work that way, right? We can remember when we were like in love. No, we were 15, 14, 16. We were blindly in love with the wrong woman, right? The wrong girl. It don't matter what they said. We didn't pay attention to that. We didn't. That was the whole thing. So sometimes you have to allow, people, you know, to fall a little bit on their knees. And like, if they ask for help, then you can come and say, what's up, right? Mm. But other than that, this knowledge is for you to possess as an individual, right? It protects you, right? And because you live by this knowledge on a daily basis, people will see that because you will succeed not only with yourself having discipline and having the awareness that not all the time every woman that comes to your life has good intentions or bad intentions, right? It's not to become hateful with the opposite sex. It's not to become raged against their female nature. It's dark, right? Pitch dark. It's super dark what they do. And it's not until you understand that a crocodile, a lion, a snake, any animal, right? They have their own instinct, their own biology, and they're just reacting because they can't help it. It's not because they're trying to be mean or they're just trying to be evil, right? Even though it comes that way, it's just their nature of doing things. They can't help it. They can't. They cannot help it. So, as a young man, older man, if you're not married, you need to understand that one of the first steps to succeed with women. And what is to succeed with women? Not only to get laid, but first of all, if they feel comfortable talking to you, right? And if you feel comfortable talking back, if you can literally maintain a conversation with a woman, with whatever topic it is, right? And a conversation, whatever it is, involves smiles, controversy, ups and downs a little bit, but they have to be engaged, right? So the whole point is, how can I make women engage with me? First of all, they are masters at detecting if you hate a woman, okay? Because you've been hurt, years ago. So, first of all, you need to heal from that ideology. How do you heal from that ideology? You go to therapy? No, no, you don't, right? You write it down, burn the piece of paper? Not really. You know? So, first of all, you need to understand that women cannot help to be how they are. This is embedded in their blood, in their genes, in their brain, right? They're wired to act like that in whatever way they do. Up and downs, you never know with them, okay? Mm. Man said, well, it's like living two different lives. Well, if you're on earth, you have to have more than one personality, even though in the medical field, they're going to tell you that's wrong, right? They're always trying to find something wrong with man these days. If you can switch to something, right? It's just like law enforcement, people who work for the system, right? They're on the streets, right? They don't talk to you like they talk to their wives or their family. They have to switch back when they're off their shift. They go back to their families or their house, and now they are like a regular civilian. Okay, that doesn't mean there's something wrong with them. Is that they just have the habit and they're trained, right, to now switch to the other person that I know. It's in me. And there's nothing wrong with that. Okay. So going back to the woman world, this manosphere right here is being criticized a lot, actually, for some reason, right? Kind of like it's a woman for the most part, and men, actually. That is, this is, they say that this manosphere started with a misinterpretation of the Matrix with the red pill, right? And it has nothing to do with the movie and blah blah blah. So basically, they're saying that men are blaming women because of the system that has been built, right, to put men down, right, and to disarm men with everything that he has. So not necessarily, not necessarily. Sometimes women know that because you are becoming aware of female nature, now they don't hold so much leverage against you, right? And I think this is why it's creating literally a lot of, not controversy, but it's creating a lot of interest in companies and people because a lot of young men and older men, especially if you're married, are waking up that your relationships, they don't have to be the way they are, right? If you're married, you know what? She doesn't give me sex. She doesn't cook for me. She's just like boring, blah, blah, blah. And then you're like, okay, let me go to therapy. Therapy is not going to solve nothing, right? So here is my personal knowledge. experience is that once you hit a plateau with your woman, your girlfriend, right, including your daughter, right, your mother, daughter, any female around you, right, the best thing to do is to let them know that as just as I can talk to you, I can talk to another woman. All right. And it not necessarily means that I have to go under her panties. It doesn't mean that. But if it happens, it's just as natural. And when you have this aura, woman, first of all, they're repressing it, right? They're gonna fight back, right? They're gonna push you back. I'm out like, no, you don't, blah, blah, blah. And you don't have to say it out loud. You just have to have that swag that, you know what? I don't have to cheat on my wife. I don't have to cheat on my girlfriend, or I don't have to talk to my daughter, my sister like that. But sometimes I can just go, and she needs to know that she's not the only female that I'm talking to, right? And for some reason, that is sexy to women, attractive, not necessarily sexy. They don't even understand that word, but it's for them. It's just like you're tapping, you're pushing a button that she didn't know, that she didn't realize that she had all this time, along this time. Okay, she didn't know, she, even though at the moment she might feel that sense of like, what the hell, right? Why am I feeling like this, right? It's crazy, man. It is crazy, and I think red pill. I'm not saying that everything they preach or they uh, talk about is necessarily true, but if you tell me, I think more than 80% of what they say is absolutely applicable, and it's saving more lives than Jesus Christ. I said it. You know, red pill knowledge, it's saving more lives than Jesus Christ, right? And I think I no decided to talk about like every day. What's up? I find it hard to believe any woman will be attracted to you. I guess unless you're in the what? No, not necessarily. Not necessarily. You know, it's just like let's just like going to the mall, right? There's a lot of people who are attracted to this brand, and there's a lot of people who are attracted to this brand. Just because people decide to wear this kind of jeans or t-shirts or shoes, they're wrong. They're just their style, you know? And red pill knowledge has saved more lives than Jesus Christ. And I need to say it again because it's absolutely truth, right? Absolutely truth. And women are becoming aware that a lot of men are aware of this knowledge, right? And I know as a newbie, as a guy that you just came into this knowledge, you're gonna say, like, oh my God, this is so great. And it's okay. It's all right, right? Because a lot of women are gonna try to hurt you. But like I said in other videos, woman, you don't listen to women's words, right? You listen to what they're how they're behaving, but don't take what they're saying personal because it's a tactic to bring you down, right? They will call you loser, they will call you fat, they will call you anything. But that's just a tactic, right? A manipulation technique from women who know that men who have no strong self esteem or they're not strong, right? Mentally, they're gonna be put down, right? But like I said to man, like man, bro, like my girl is going crazy. Good. That means she's, that shows a little bit of attraction, right? You have to get not worried, but when a girl doesn't want to even talk to you or argue with you, that's a straight red flag that she's not even putting that energy with you. But if a woman tells you, okay, nobody's attracted to you, you're not attracted to me. It doesn't mean other women are not, right? One of my coworkers said, Alex, if I got rejected by three women already, okay, you have to make your math, right? How many people are in the world, right? 9 billion people? Okay, so you're talking me three girls rejected you last week. Then you have to make your math what city you are, right? How many people there are, how many women. It's just like it's a numbers game to a certain extent, right? But God The gods bless the red knowledge. I'm pretty happy that I've been, experiencing a lot of men are feeling, relief that they say, I wish my dad taught me this, but he didn't. And that's okay, right? We all had dads that were busy doing their own thing and they didn't know better. Probably because they were simping too. They had your mother was really crappy mother, crappy woman, not treating your dad right, and that's why you hate women. And this is when you, as a man, you need to stop that. And it's a very easy step. You need to know that this is how they respond when you're not responding to your manhood. Where you're not responding to your own nature as a man, you need to be talking to other women on a daily basis, not necessarily having sex with other women. Just by talking to other women, automatically your girl, your wife, including your daughter and your sister, they feel some type of way. They don't like it, right? But that doesn't mean that they don't feel good to a certain extent. Like they don't respect you, okay? Just because a woman doesn't like what you're doing, that doesn't mean she doesn't respect you, okay? She might hate you, I hate you, but down deep, she knows that you're making her feel some type of way, right? It's very easy. It's not even a trick. It's really a principle that we all men can follow, right? I told my kid is 18, 17 years old. He's giving himself hard time. He said, I don't believe that, Dad. I don't believe that we're living in different times. And I'm like, that's okay. I'm not gonna repeat myself again, right? But just in case in the future you get, you know, crushed, I will not hold that against you. I'll be more than open to tell you that it's okay. We all fall for that. We all blame other men about saying that's not true until it happens to you. Until you know that it happens to you and you think that no, these are different times and this woman it's different, right? This woman is just different. Well, female nature, there's no difference. Female nature is, it will be forever and ever, right? Female nature, since the beginning of time, has not changed at all. Since the beginning of time, women have been having kids, and guess what? They're having kids to this day. So that means female nature, biology hasn't changed a bit. Now, I have to mention this though. So, I do believe in numerology, I do believe in astrology. If you tell me if I marry a woman who's a Cancer, is she going to be the same if I marry a Gemini? Of course not. Of course not. Right? If I marry an Aquarius woman, is she going to be the same as a Libra? Of course not. Of course not. There's going to be a difference because I do believe in astrology. And even though it's not an exact science, but when you look at it with an open mind and without guilt and shame, right? You'll be surprised and amazed how it makes sense. Numerology too, right? Numerology, you're born in whatever number. There's always going to be some energy, revolving in that specific number, right? Okay, let me see. What's your projection past local experience? Move on, do better. See, here's this perfect example, right? This is a perfect example of, you know, I don't know if it's a woman or a man. I'm guessing she's a woman, right? That's what I'm thinking. But if it's a man, hey, men do that too. Excuse me, men do that too, right? And one of my not goals, but biggest desires without attachment is to see in 5, 10 years the suicide rate on young men drop big time, right? And I know the medical field is gonna take credit all this crap. They're gonna take credit. It was because of them, some therapy, and not because of the red pill knowledge. But we all know, people who are in red pill knowledge, we all know that this knowledge is saving so much lives, man. Like big time. Like big time. I know a lot of people say that's a blasphemy to compare it to Jesus Christ. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding at all. It's fucking this is fucking real. And I really appreciate it because a lot of these people who came up with this red pill knowledge, they were crushed, man. They were crushed. They came out of this darkness. They hit rock bottom so hard that there was nobody there, and they figured this out. And they say, you know what? Instead of going crazy, mad, hating women, I'm gonna translate all this pain into knowledge, and I'm gonna be the true savior of lives. This is the true heroes now. They are, and they don't have a cape. They don't, right? Batman, Superman, they don't have nothing on this reality. But yeah, I'm happy that I have kids, and I have daughters too. But daughter, you know, and this is like I said, this is not a hate enemy thing. People make it seem like that, but you hate women, or they will shame you for that. They will shame you because now you're aware of their true nature, right? And that, it's not negative. Absolutely not. It is positive in every single angle. It's positive, right? Once you know female nature, you will look at women of how they can respond, right? And one thing I need to add, I think this is very, very crucial. I think God, whoever created woman, right? They created her beautiful, and they knew that man was going to get distracted by it, right? They knew man was going to get distracted. And I think the gods, or God, whoever built, created woman, they knew that they were not going to put it easy for men to see female nature. Why? Just think about it. Very obvious, logical. You see something beautiful, you forget about everything. You don't care about nothing. You're just staring at it, and you're just in the present moment, and that you think that that moment and that feeling is always going to last, right? Always. Mm. And it's absolutely not true, right? How many beautiful plants, right, and trees are poison? How many beautiful animals, they look harmless, and if you get bit by it or stung by it, you die, right? So beauty in itself, it's not, you cannot judge something by its beauty, because it's a distraction for you to go more deeper and understand the nature of that thing. Okay. When you see something beautiful, automatically you don't focus, and how is that thing going to respond, right? So when going and applying this to women, as a man, when you look at a beautiful woman, right, you think that right, she's enjoying in a genuine way, that you are enjoying her beauty, right? And that only works probably what? With a little baby, if it's your daughter, your little sister. But then eventually you see them growing up, and you see that something's wrong with that, right? Because when you focus on woman's beauty, you're not even tapping, not even 5% of their female nature. Because beauty has nothing to do with female nature. That I'm adding my own stuff right there. What's up, big dog? What's up? What's up, Andrew? Yeah. So that beauty has nothing to do with female nature. Absolutely nothing. It doesn't. This is, I learned for myself, and I share this with other people, other men especially, right? And one time I was talking to my brother, and how hard is to master this actually. And I'm gonna throw this out. Like I don't even know if you master it. I don't think there's a time where you said, you know what, I mastered this female nature. I was watching this guy, right? He's a very famous pickup artist. He literally said this. It was like a month ago. He broke up with his girl, and he said it in the video, and you can see that he was a little bit crushed. And he said that he's been dating picking women for more than 35 years. So he's very, very experienced on this. And he said that he learned that how dangerous it is for a man to say, you know what, I dominate this. No, I'm skillful. I know how not to focus on the beauty, you know, on a woman's face or a beauty. No, it's you will never master it. All right. It's something that it's on a daily basis. You cannot forget about this knowledge because believe me, man, you go out there and you see, right? And you're like, damn. And you don't even know it. You're falling for it, right? Now, is it about blaming, shaming her about her beauty? No, that means that you hate a woman and you don't want that, right? You see beautiful women all the time. You just act like something normal, something normal. They were just blessed like that, you know. They're blessed like that. Mhm. Just like a cow gives milk. Are you impressed? Wow, look how many milk she said. No, you don't. You just like, okay, it's a cow. That's her nature. That's the nature of she gives milk. Okay, what can I do with milk? Okay, I can do cheese. I can have fucking yogurt. I can have so many things that I can make from fucking milk, right? Vitamin D pills. There's a lot of things, right? So this is just an analogy that I can put out when you encounter a beautiful woman, so you don't find yourself going crazy and lost. Okay. Mm. Beauty, it's a distraction from the nature of things. Never forget that, guys. Okay. I remember with my grandfather before he died, like 25 years ago, 20 years ago. I was in the countryside, right? And I saw this fruit. It was like, damn, that looks delicious. And he said, don't touch it. I'm like, what? Don't touch it. Okay. Like, why not? And guess what I did? I did touch it. Right. And there was so much little thin hairs, right? Whatever it's called, thin hairs that got inside my skin, right? And they were just fucking bothering me, right? For hours. And I said, like, how do you take this off? Like, don't rub them because the more you rub them, right, the more deeper they go on your skin, right? On your flesh. I'm like, damn, this is crazy. It was not a cactus, but it was similar, like the family, right? But he said, don't touch it, right? And he said, literally, we eat the fruit. But he brought some like pliers, some cutters. He cut it. He didn't touch it, right? He had the proper tools to that. He gave me of the fruit. Delicious, delicious. So what I learned from that is that I was focusing on the beauty of the fruit. And my grandfather, he knew that. He knew, like, no, no, that's not even the good part. That's not even in my mind. The good part is inside. But you need to know how to approach it. Okay. You get distracted by the beauty and then you become a victim of your own ignorance. Okay. And this is why women have leverage over men. Okay. Because you think that having a beautiful woman makes you a man. Why? A lot of men have can take accountability for this, right? Rich men, because they have money, and that's okay. I'm not hating. They get certain women who are, nice looking women, and young people or people who don't know really exactly what's going on. They think that's really the goal, but they know that the people who are doing it, they know that that's just a hobby for them, right? Sometimes they don't even have kids with these kind of women. They're just doing it for social media, for followers. And if you're not mature enough, you're going to think like, okay, there is a such thing to have beautiful women, right? And it's not okay, go for the ugly ones. I'm not saying that either. I'm just saying that ugly, beautiful, that's not tapping into female nature. And you will pay a price, right? You will pay a price because now you're just not focusing on the nature of things. When you focus on the nature of things, you have wisdom, okay? You have leverage over that. That's why women cannot deal with you, you know, because you know you can leave, walk away, and talk to another woman, right? Because for you, female natures are the same. There's no difference. Once you are indifferent to beauty, this is when you start winning. All right. All right. I'm not military. I'm not. I mean, I just like my haircut like that. I'm from Chicago. But yeah. So once you focus on beauty, on woman's beauty, this is when you get hit. This is when you get an uppercut and you don't see it coming. Okay. As a man, you need to understand that once you become indifferent for beauty, like you don't care, basically, right? You don't care. And I know people, I said this one, and he said, like, I disagree because then you're gonna have the habit of picking up ugly girls. But I told him, look, bro, I've met a lot of young guys who say, you know what, bro, I don't want to date an ugly girl. I don't even want to talk to her. And I tell them, okay, you have the wrong approach. That's a very erroneous perspective because when you know that there's only female nature, not ugly woman or beautiful woman, only female nature, you don't, okay? You don't going to be biased, right? You're not gonna belittle women who are that not too beautiful. But because you already approaching them by their nature, you don't care. Because at the end of the day, even if you talk to an ugly woman, you're talking to a woman. So when you talk to a woman, you're creating this aura around you. That when you want to talk to a real beautiful woman, in your view, now she feels comfortable because you have been around women. See what I'm saying? So you need to understand a beautiful woman, when she sees you talking to an ugly woman, she feels some type of way. Okay. Not all of them, but a lot of them, they feel some type of way. Why? Because they know that beauty distracts men and beauty makes men, okay, go after them, not after ugly, right? But if you're starting and you want to date, you want to get to know more about women, you want to be comfortable in having a conversation, you need to understand that there's no such thing as ugly or beautiful woman, only female nature. Female nature, it's the red pill knowledge. That's what it is. You can look it up. Everybody's going to say it in a different way. It's going to be conveyed in some other words, but at the end of the day, it's the same. How they respond to a man's action. Okay. That's what it is. Mm. What is it that what I do, women do after what I do? Okay. Mm. And it doesn't mean that you need all the women chasing you. This is what I disagree with a lot of, with some red pill knowledge, because I know there's a lot of intruders who claim they have the red pill knowledge, but they're just kind of like misdirecting people, saying that how are you gonna make a woman chase you? And I'm like, I don't even know if that's like possible to a certain like genuine way, right? For me, there is possible that women want you, that you have options, but that doesn't mean they're chasing you, you know? And for me, it's just unrealistic. For me, right? I don't know. I might be wrong on that one, but for me, it's just unrealistic. But I do believe there's such thing about having options. Okay. And with your woman, your girlfriend, right? Your woman, your girlfriend, your wife, she knows that you can talk to another woman, right? And if that woman responds to you, she engages, she engages in your conversation, automatically you will put her in her female nature. People are gonna say, but she's gonna get mad. Exactly. She's gonna get uncomfortable. But you need to understand that women can only succeed when they're uncomfortable. If they get comfortable, they're not paying attention to you no more. Okay. And they jump to the guy who makes them uncomfortable. Okay. It's what it is. That's female nature. That's just female nature. Right. A lot of people will refuse to live like that. That's okay. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion and right. Right. I just got tired and sick and tired of not understanding this concept, this polarity about female and male until I'm into the point in my life that I don't master it, but I'm aware on a daily basis that talking to women gives you type of energy, right? Talking to women, and when women they talk to you with their voice, right? It gives you certain empowerment, right? And when you get to the point that the more you talk to women, you will notice that the easier it is for you to talk to them, right? I do believe in cold approach. I'm not a pickup artist, but I do believe sometimes you can talk to a woman, stranger, and start a conversation, and nothing happens because nothing had to happen. Only a conversation because you're gaining knowledge, experience, right? So, for all those people who want to live in the room privately, not talking to women, I do believe that's a very, you're setting up yourself for failure in the long run, and it's gonna make you awkward, right? Even if you find the wife that you want to marry, you need to understand that if she's your girlfriend, your wife, including your daughter, you guys have to have a conversation. You guys have to have a reciprocate coming back thing. And when you don't have that, then you don't have nothing, right? You don't have a life. Avoiding women because you've been rejected, it doesn't make you stronger. It makes you weaker, right? We all being rejected. Everybody has been rejected as a man. They know that. Mhm. If they don't say it, it's another thing, right? Every man has been rejected, and rejection is just part of female nature. When you understand that a female rejects you, it's not because there's something wrong with you, right? And this is what you need to understand as a man. Like, am I too fat? Am I this? Am I this? Automatically, you start judging yourself because female nature, she didn't want you at that time. You need to understand women go up and down. That's what they do. They feel some type of way today, and tomorrow they feel another way. Mm. I can't tell you how many times I was in a dating app and I got matched with a woman, right, who flake on me, and then months later, boom, she's on my lap. It's just so crazy. It happens all the time. Absolutely not. Not all the time. But it happens. It happens because for many reasons, right? Any many reasons, right? They're going to a little, breakup with their boyfriend, husbands. I don't know, right? And they want somebody who's not needy, mm, who's not gonna have some strings attached. That's how women are, bro. And you as a man, you need to understand that you don't have to have strings attached with women, right? That's what makes it attractive. Okay. And when you find your woman, your wife, your girlfriend, don't forget about that. Don't try to attach strings on it. If she wants you to have strings attached to her, well, you do, right? But you understand sometimes you have to act like you don't have them. That's the thing, you know. I it's always the married man, who shared with me like, man, I do everything for this woman, this and this, and it's the same. It gets just it's sick, man. It's just the same story, same. I gave this, I gave that. I'm like, man. I mean, it's so easy for me now. Like, okay, then stop giving her all that, and then look at you like, but, oh God, okay, then you know, whatever. People like to people are givers, men are providers, and they love that, right? You can't change everybody. But all right, guys, I'm gonna wrap it up. God bless the red pill. Have saved more lives. any hero in Marvel comic books, right? Good night.